Hello and welcome to the State of Culture. The 7th CMS or VATAVARAN Festival, India's only environmental and wildlife film festival and forum, was held recently in a completely different format at the IGNCA grounds in New Delhi. Our report. The 7th CMS VATAVARAN, staged at the IGNCA Lawns, New Delhi, had as its theme mainstreaming biodiversity conservation to promote harmony with nature. This year, there was a kaleidoscope of films, expert sessions, talks, deliberations, contemporary discourses, eco-trips, music and organic food festivals, and a green heart. The focus of all of them was to promote environmental sensitivity on a large scale. More than 150 of the best environmental films from the world over were showcased. We give you a peek.
It's sacred, it's divine, it's the holy river Ganga. Travel with us from the Himalayas to the Bay of Bengal as we uncover what the Ganga is up against. Saving the Ganga.
যখন যাস ভয় করে না
বর্ডারে দেখে ভয় করে কি লাভ আছে বাঁচতে হলে বুকে সাহস নিয়ে বাঁচতে হবে
There is haldi, they have used chandan, they have used ghee, they have used all natural taste and they have created beautiful items.
आणि मागीर ताका फोमान घालून मागीर 4 दिसांनी तो काडटा
Their equipment is minimal. They wear rubber slippers or sometimes a flipper on one foot. Rags from old saris are wrapped around their fingers to prevent injury. Arriving, the women take a deep breath and dive into the cloudy waters to handpick seaweed.
the idyllic land of Ladakh in northern India. Here, nature is the ultimate decider of fates. Living isn't easy under these looming mountains and harsh terrain. But local culture has embraced a tradition of working with the elements. One element in particular, which sustains nearly every aspect of Ladakhi life, is critical for their survival. Water from Himalayan glaciers.
This tiger is the chosen one. She will be taken from her home and released into unknown territory. She will face a struggle to survive in a world full of uncertainty.
This is the story of Chilika, a 1,000 square kilometer lake on the east coast of India. In the late 1990s, Chilika was a weed-infested, dying lake. But thanks to ecological restoration by the Odisha government, it's once again a steady source of livelihood for thousands and a vibrant refuge for wildlife. For threatened wetlands everywhere, Chilika's resurrection is a story of hope.
നിർദ്ദിഷ്ട IT പാർക്കിന് കണ്ടുവച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലം.
ഇനി ആ സ്ഥലം നമ്മളല്ലല്ല, കണ്ണം പൊക്ക് കുനിയുണ്ടാക്കി കണ്ടര നട്ടിട്ട് എക്കലടിഞ്ഞുണ്ടായതല്ലേ.
ഏഴ് ദിവസത്തിനകം
ഈ വീട് സ്ഥലം ഒഴിച്ചു തരണം. ഗവൺമെന്റിന്റെ ഓർഡറാ.
ഇപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ ഒരു പ്രധാന പ്രശ്നം ആരാണ് കുടിയേറ്റക്കാർ എന്നതാണ്. കണ്ണമ്പൊക്കനോ അതോ ഗവൺമെന്റോ?
ഈ ഭൂമി നമ്മുടേതാണ്. ഈ ഭൂമി വിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പോവില്ല, 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 പോവില്ല.
This is my trash, and this is yours, and this is Mr. Verma's, Khan's, Mahato's, Iyer's, Singh's, and everyone else's living in our city. Then there is the waste generated by markets, malls, hospitals, industries, and offices. All this waste gets collected. Some of it gets sorted, but in the end what's left gets thrown outside the city in a landfill. And what happens after that? Well, nothing much, except that today's waste goes on top of yesterday's, and tomorrow's waste will go on top of today's, and so on, until it all piles up so high that the landfill cannot be used anymore. And then we dig a new pit and find a new landfill.
We're going in for a short break. Stay with us.
यूं तो इंसान पूरी जिंदगी अच्छे और बुरे कर्म करता है, लेकिन मृत्यु के बाद भी नेत्रदान करके इंसान महादान का पुण्य कमा सकता है। नेत्रदान करके नेत्रहीनों की अंधेरी जिंदगी में उजाला भर सकते हैं आप। नेत्रदान महादान।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए निकटतम नेत्र बैंक, मेडिकल कॉलेज या जिला अस्पताल से संपर्क करें। नेत्रदान महादान।
Welcome back to the State of Culture and the 7th VATAVARAN Film Festival.
Africa. Here, the ancient dramas of nature play themselves out. Marditao, the mighty lioness, has lost her mate. There are new rulers now, and she must flee. With her cubs, she'll embark on a remarkable journey to a dangerous and unknown land in a quest for survival. And against all odds, she will rise once more. It's the eternal dance of Africa. The last lion.
Wow. Awesome.
We take plants for granted. They're just part of the landscape. But maybe they've been hiding secret and dynamic lives we're just beginning to understand.
Knapweed is waging war with its neighbors with these chemical interactions in the soil.
Maybe plants are more like us than we ever imagined.
Is it communication? Are they deliberately sending a signal?
We just don't know what to look for.
Arthur C. Clarke said that behind every man now alive there stands 30 ghosts, for that is the ratio by which the dead outnumber the living. There are 7 billion people alive in the world today, so what, something like 210 billion people have walked the earth during its lifetime. Scientists believe that in each of us there are 10,000 billion atoms in our lungs. That's a 1 with 22 zeros after it, just in our lungs. Now think about this. Every breath from every person that has ever lived contained atoms, atoms that were part of them. Hundreds, thousands, millions of years later, those atoms are now in your lungs. In fact, your whole body consists of the atoms that once existed in every person that has ever lived. Your Boadicea, Cleopatra, Henry V, Isaac Newton, your great-great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather. But of course we're so much more than that, because life on Earth is not just about humans. Your whole body consists of the atoms that once existed in every living thing, animal or otherwise, which means that your coral, forest, cherry, bed bugs, even bits of drizzle, rusty old boy. There's an endless list of the things which lived before you, which are now part of you, and an endless list of the things which will live beyond you, which you will become part of. You, therefore, are everything. We, therefore, are one. Life, nature, you make the connection.
That's all, folks, in this edition of The State of Culture. We will return next week same time with yet another event that occurred in the city. Till then, goodbye.
बारिश का मजा तो सब लेते हैं, पर बारिश का पानी बचाने की बात कौन सोचता है? हाँ? बारिश के पानी का संरक्षण करें ताकि पानी की कमी न हो और आप जिंदगी का यूं ही मजा लेते रहें।
A new brand of museum with high-tech storytelling presentation opened for public in the Parliament of India on democratic heritage. Reflecting the concept of Ashoka's welfare state and Greek travelers' accounts 2,400 years ago. Democracy and religious tolerance at home, an international peace policy as practiced in ancient India. The concept of religious harmony in Din-e-Ilahi of Emperor Akbar. The people from different states of India in their costumes singing patriotic songs in 22 different languages during the freedom movement. Sound, light, video and mechanical animation in a multi-layered presentation of Indian freedom movement.
Even in ordinary affairs, we know that people do not know who rules or why and how he rules. And yet they know that there is a power that certainly rules.
The other part of freedom movement with similar animations.
Only when the blood of freedom-loving Indians begins to flow will India attain her freedom. Inqilab Zindabad. Azad Hind Zindabad.
Virtual reality in which today's visitors participate in the Dandi March of 1930 with Mahatma Gandhi. Parallel to the freedom movement launched by the Indians, the British government brought in a series of legislative reforms which are studied by visitors in computer multimedia. Evolution of multi-party democracy, new political parties emerging with new ideologies. A computer-controlled 7-screen projection on transfer of power. The people elect their own representatives in the parliament and state legislatures. These representatives elect the president and prime minister of the country.
Today, the Indian Parliament functions with a true spirit of democracy for a multicultural country with equal respect for all.
Visitors can have access to all pages of the Constitution through a computer multimedia. Three organs of the state, with legislative, executive and judiciary wings as provided in the Constitution. The sacred ashes of Mahatma Gandhi. The committee chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar drafted the new constitution in 1949.
Let me for a moment go to Buddhism and see what the Buddha has to say about the points made out by Karl Marx.
General election on the basis of adult franchise was first held in 1952, and the process continues till date. The upper balcony displays the function of the two houses of the parliament, Lokshabha and Rajya Sabha. Visitors study the function of Rajya Sabha and they study the function of Lok Sabha. Portraits of national leaders and artifacts presented by dignitaries.
Long years ago, we made a tryst with destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge.
Animatronics of Jawaharlal Nehru delivering the Tryst with Destiny speech on the 15th August 1947 midnight.
That responsibility rests upon this assembly, a sovereign body representing the sovereign people of India. Before the birth of freedom, we have endured all the pains of labor, and our hearts are heavy with the memory of this sorrow.
A fully computerized resource center provides a lot of additional information to visitors, scholars, and members of parliament.
It was an amazingly enriching experience coming over here and walking down Indian history lane, and I felt as if I was a part of the Indian nationalist movement and helping all the Indians to achieve freedom as soon as possible.
It was very educative, the documentary, and there were several other rarest objects that are kept here.
ये म्यूजियम एक तरह से हमारे जो कल्चर है, हमारा पुराना इंडिपेंडेंस का जो हमारी स्वतंत्रता की जो सेनानी हैं उनकी हमें याद दिलाता है.
It's been a great experience as a teacher watching the children see the exhibits and their eyes light up with the pride of being a part of this great national struggle.
Animatronics, virtual reality, multi-screen projection and computer multimedia with extensive visitors' participation, along with original artifacts, present a close-knit story of Indian democracy through the ages.
You see, you analyze, and you elect. Now, watch your elected representatives think, strategize, and plan. Only on Lok Sabha television.
माँ मैं बहुत अच्छे नंबरों से पास हुआ और मैं भी फर्स्ट आई. इन्हें किसी की नजर न लगे.
नजर कैसे लगेगी? परिवार की खुशहाली का मूल मंत्र परिवार नियोजन जो अपनाया है हमने.
सच में हमने बच्चों के बीच 3 साल का अंतर रखा, जिससे बच्चों को अच्छे स्वास्थ्य के साथ साथ अच्छी परवरिश भी मिले.
इससे तुम्हारी सेहत भी तो अच्छी रही.
सुखी परिवार का सही आधार परिवार नियोजन. अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी स्वास्थ्य केंद्र से संपर्क करें.
मालिक साथ वाली मार्केट में छापा पड़ा है. सुना है सभी दुकानों की चेकिंग हो रही है कि उनके बाट तराजू बराबर है कि नहीं.
मुझे चिंता की बात ही नहीं है. ये देख
हर बाट के पीछे सरकारी मोहर लगी हुई है और डिजिटल मशीन पर भी सील लगी हुई है। कभी मैं दुकान पर ना हूँ और चेकिंग वाले आ जाएं तो घबराना नहीं, उन्हें ये सब दिखा देना।
ये सही तरीके अपनाकर व्यापार करेंगे तो आपको कोई डर नहीं, ना ही बाट एवं माप विभाग का और ना ही उपभोक्ता अदालत का।
4, 5, 6 पंजे
30।
अरे वाह, दिमाग तो हवाई जहाज ही थे।
हवाई जहाज नहीं, रॉकेट।
हाँ, रॉकेट।
राकेट जी कहाँ? अम्मा खेत में आई है।
जा।